Welcome back. President Cyril Ramaphosa is to appear before the Judicial Commission of Inquiry into allegations of state capture this week, starting tomorrow. This is in line with Ramaphosa's many public statements in which he has expressed his willingness to testify before the commission. The president will give evidence in his capacity as president and former deputy president of the Republic and president and former deputy president of the African National Congress. To unpack what is likely to come out of this, Angelo Fick is director at our Socio-Economic Research Institute. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us, Angelo. So, should we have any kind of expectations on the outcome or appearance of the president, and just how significant is it?
So I think that in some respects, despite what many politicians have said about today and post-apartheid South Africa, this is a significant moment in South African polity. For a serving head of state to appear in his capacity as the head of the party that he leads is a significant moment before a judicial commission. What I think people will be expecting is answers to what Mr. Ramaphosa's role was when he was the deputy head of the party, and since he's become head of the party, in combating the allegation or combating the issues that are implicated in the allegations of state capture. After all, as deputy president of the party, he would have been in a crucial position to oversee the processes which had already been dealt with by the national chair, Mr. Mantashe, and others when it came to cadre deployment issues. And so some of those same issues will be asked of him.
So there are those who say part of the significance of this is that it has a possibility of shifting the narrative from making former President Jacob Zuma as the architect of state capture. Is that likely to be realized?
Well, that depends entirely on the way in which the questioning will go and the way in which Mr. Ramaphosa responds. So this is not him appearing in his personal capacity, though many people will mistake it for that. He is appearing as the head of a party and as the former deputy head of a party. And so what will be under examination is exactly how South Africa's current governing party and its internal structures dealt with the issues raised around state capture and about corruption that led to state capture from around about the period 2012 through the 2014 and 2016 national and provincial and then local government elections. And so Mr. Ramaphosa's answers and his responses will have to deal with what he knew, what the party knew, what they did about what they knew, and how that proceeded to affect the ways in which, in the end, very, very late in the last decade, the party and its employees in government agreed to a commission. The party's president, then President Jacob Zuma, agreed to and established as president of the Republic a certain kind of commission.
Now, we understand that the first 2 days the president will be addressing ANC matters, and then he will address his leadership of the country. Then there are those who have expectations of some kind of face-off with the legal team on the other side. What do you anticipate, and is it going to be a brawl like some are expecting?
I think the expectations of brawls, as were the expectations around Noma Gigaba's testimony yesterday, tend to be kind of an understanding of this process as a spectacle. I think that confusing it for entertainment value is to debase the process. In his capacity as the president of the party, he will have to answer around processes for the party when he comes back in May, as the person who's going to answer questions around, what he did as head of state and as deputy head of state when he was also head of government business. Those questions in relation to SOEs, particularly what we now know of what happened at Eskom, what has happened at Transnet, what has happened in the other SOEs, including SAA, all of those will come up. What I think many people will want to hear is what happened between the weekend special, as people called it, finance ministry, what he did as deputy leader of the party then to try and get the party, to get its government employees to go back on track, all the way through the Constitutional Court judgments on the function of the legislature to hold the executive to account. and what has happened since in the party when it comes to holding people to account.
Okay. Now, among the NEC members who are going to be leading the team will be Jeff Hadebe, Joe Neshutenje, Ronald Lamula and Andries Nel. The importance of the composition of this team.
So we know that Andries Nel has a role in the legal processes at the Tuli House. We know that Joel Neshutenje has been a commentator and analyst of economic policy for the ANC for a very long time. And we know that Ronald Lamula and his legal training will be useful. But I think what we do need to guard against is an inability to separate party from state. Some of these people are in the executive, and it should be clear what their function as members of the executive, advising the president when he speaks as president of the country, and what their role is as members of the party who advise the head of their party. And state resources and state time shouldn't be used to fight party business. And that distinction, I think, is going to be something that is very crucial to watch, precisely because part of what happened under the allegations of state capture, or what is alleged to be state capture, is that that conflation resulted in the wide-scale corruption, maladministration, wasteful expenditure, and cash outflows that really were illegitimate.
Angelo, always a pleasure to speak to you, and hopefully we'll be catching up with you as and when these events unfold. Thank you very much. Angelo Fick is Director at our Socio-Economic Research Institute, just talking us through the appearance before the State Capture Commission of President Cyril Ramaphosa.